Welcome back everyone to C5 Corvette DIY Garage. Today I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be, as part of the rebuilding of this C5 engine, how to install the Brian Tooley double valve springs. You can see here we've got the dual valve spring assembly. And the reason I've gone to these dual valve springs is because I'm putting a fairly healthy camshaft with some pretty big lift in the vet. So the items that come equipped in this kit are your retainers, you've got your valve seals, you've got your dual springs, you've got your caps for your springs, and as well as, I've already gone and put them in, but inside here you're going to have your seats, spring seats. So those would be the items that would come in this kit to do the entire both sets of heads. Get some better light here. Sorry, I'm in my basement. And you can see I've already gone ahead and done these. So I'm going to do these last two right in front of you so you get a good look on how that works. Okay, so let me just set the camera up here for you. I think that's pretty good there. Get it out of the way. Looks like we're good to go. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, as I said earlier, is we're going to put in the spring seats. That's these two guys right here. So I'll pop them in first. Make sure the flat part goes down and then the little lip here, ridge, goes up. So they go in there. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to get the valve seals in play here. So as I showed you earlier, what I did is I taped the bottom of the valves to keep the valves up. So one of the tools that I've got here, believe it or not, is this this little guy, which is almost like a straw, and that straw type of plastic tool here goes over top of the valve stem. And what that's going to allow is when I actually put the valve seal, it's not going to cut the edge, which are sometimes pretty sharp, is not going to cut the actual seal in advance of me putting it in. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab very little oil, some engine oil here, and just dab it around where the seal will sit, just to allow it to pop in a little easier. Okay, so it should pop right over nicely, just like that, without cutting it. Now you could probably almost push it down by hand, but I usually use what is that, 1/2 inch socket. I find it goes nicely right to the outer edge where the actual metal is, and I can either give it a little bit of an extra push. If that's not doing it, I've got a little bit of a rubber mallet here, and maybe give it a little bit of a slight, ever so slight tap. And what'll happen is, you know, you're going to be there when you actually feel it bottom out, and I can see I've got like a 1/4 inch gap between the seal, the seat, sorry, the spring seat, and the actual seal itself. Yeah, that feels good, fairly solid there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is remove my little straw tool, put it on my next one. Same thing again, a little bit of oil, very little, right where the seal's going to sit, just like that. And then get my next seal, and that pops it over just nicely. 1/2 inch, very gentle, nothing hard. And that's done. That's it. And I didn't touch anything. Seals look great. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to take my straw tool there out. Great little cheap tool there. And what we're going to do next is our springs can actually go in. things go into play. And we're going to put our top retainer plates. Perfect. So now the interesting part is we've got a specialized tool here from Crane Cams that I like to use, and the reason I like this tool is it actually does bolt springs. It's specific for these LS engines, and it does a wonderful job of helping you put in the retainers. Sometimes I've seen them used with the actual rocker rail. I tend to just use it just like this on its own, without the rail itself. Goes in there just like that. Just make sure you keep everything aligned. I've got the washers in there. Just going to give them a little bit of a snug up. Some people like using impact, like electric impact driver. I'm not too keen on that. I kind of like using the hand tools just so I can control what's happening. Very delicate components here, obviously, with aluminum. Okay, and the main bolt goes in on top. And by driving this down, I'm actually going to be driving both springs in. Main thing is you want to make sure that it's actually lining up properly. You want the valves going right down the center. Otherwise, what will happen if they're not, as you're pushing down, it'll push the valves right out the other side. And the tape, obviously, that you have there won't hold. So as you can see the valve stem peeking out the top. And I actually got the ridges exposed for my retainers. Now the part here that gets interesting is you got to line up the valve with the holes here. So sometimes it might involve a little bit of tapping. And all you're trying to do is just to get everything equal for the retainers to go in. Otherwise, this is probably the more intricate part of the job, is getting these little retainers in place. But have some patience. Okay, move our light. Okay, so it looks like I might have to go a little bit deeper or wind it down a little more. Retainers are not quite grabbing where they need to be. There we go. And the retainer just fell in. So what I like to use is just a dental pick here. Just like that there. So sometimes if they fall in, just to get them back out again. Because you can't let them fall in, otherwise, there you go. It's just not going to work. They got to stay up high. I actually felt it pop there. All right, and then we'll do the other side, and same same thing, stick it in there, try to get it. What I have to do, you might have to just wind it back just a bit. Yeah, I can see it's just not quite. Oh, there we go. This guy here probably. Oh, if I take it down again. Another. There we go. That's way better for alignment. Yeah, it wasn't quite lining up the hole, so I didn't want to force it and have the retainer not go in the way it's supposed to go. So I said it's a bit of patience, some tedious, can be tedious. And I just felt it pop in there. Like I said, don't rush it, and yeah, you'll see what I'm doing here. I'll give you some better light. There you go. So we don't want to rush that because it's very important, and I actually get pretty picky, and I'll tell you how I get picky is I almost want the spacing between these retainers to be pretty much bang on. Probably not a must, but that's just me personally. Okay, so there you go, folks. We have now installed all our springs. And again, this is an LS1 head that I've gone and hogged out the exhaust, raised the roof as they would call it, and the valve guides there, the bosses, they were all reduced. And on this side here, you can see same thing. I've cleaned up the intake, opened them up, the cathedral ports there. I've actually gasket matched everything up. And we are putting a larger cam, stage 2 Tooley cam in this vehicle with the dual valve springs. And we did everything while we were in there, valve seals, retainers, everything that pretty much came in the kit. All right, if you got any questions, let me know. Please subscribe, thumbs up, and take care, and chime in again. We'll have another video as we put this project together. Thank you.